Welcome to the Big Money Podcast. I am Janine Hurd, here to guide you to scale your business from 7 to 8 figures and building wealth that lasts for generations. Get ready for audacious strategies, real talk, and next level business moves. So let's dive in today's episode. Why close proximity isn't value and what real value looks like in a premium business. Hello, beautiful genius. Welcome back to another powerful episode of the Big Money Podcast. And I'm already giving you a heads up. If you're not in the mood for some serious real talk, then better listen to another episode, because we're going to talk about one of the biggest lies I see the coaching industry is teaching over and over again, and it's not true. And I'm currently contemplating my lessons learned in 2024, because obviously there's going to be a final episode of the year in which I'm going to be sharing my biggest contemplations, breakthroughs, things I wish someone would have told me. And already giving a little teaser here, I wish I would have focused on mentors which are much longer in the coaching industry instead of focusing on mentors who just made more money. And that being said is really, I focused on mentors that just made more money than I did, but maybe they were in the coaching business for like 6 months longer than I am, or maximum a year. Versus now, really, I'm only working with mentors, first of all, which have built businesses over $150 million, but also have been in business for over like 10 years. And I'm learning so much because one part is building a business that generates that kind of money. But as being a coach, I am also serving as a human being. So I am not just CEO, I'm also the creative director that's coming up with a product that's taking care of the clients, right? So there's so many different angles right now that are coming together. And one of the things I've learned in the beginning was really like your close proximity spaces should be most expensive because they get access to you, right? It's always about this access point. And yes, at first it makes sense, but it is kind of, imagine a mess. They don't invite you into their factory to watch your Birkin bag being made. They sell exclusivity and deliver results without like constant interaction. So the real value comes from the outcome and not the process, and also not the close proximity. And this hit me so hard when I contemplated, actually, I do not know anything about Dior's process of designing clothes, the production part. Don't want to say I'm not interested. I am, and at the same time, not in all the details, but I really care about the beautiful stores and the products. And for that, also personally, at the level where I am in fashion, I'm not really interested in meeting the designer and the really creative part of Dior. For me, at this point, I simply love their clothes. They're timeless, elegant pieces. That's why I buy. And this hit me so hard because I've realized my clients, and this has been a big shift in 2024, when I really focused on women who can lead themselves. Everything's changed because in my one-on-one spaces, they're only women, they are leading the container. It is really a mentorship, like women asking me a question. I'm not babysitting. And I'm seeing the dynamics shifting in my spaces. For instance, back in the day, I would always lead. I would lead the call. I'm like, hey, this is what I'm seeing. This is what I've spotted, yada, yada, yada. And this really created a lot of clients I had to babysit over and over and over again. And it's not good for either side, right? Because you don't start thinking on your own, because you think like, oh, my coach, my mentor, however you want to name it, my teacher is going to come up with the topic, kind of like school. But this is not how business works. There's no teacher, there's no school. It's like you have to master that kind of thinking. You have to run your own business. And this is something really I see so often changing. And this hit me so hard because I was preparing the episodes for the rest of the month, and I'm like, it's interesting. There aren't any questions left for the podcast episodes. And by now, we are having over 250 people in the paid version in the Mastery Club of the podcast. And I'm like, it's so interesting because most people really cannot lead themselves in a business context. And that's why they're never growing to big money goals, 7, 8 figures. because that is a point where you have to learn to lead yourself. And simply, I'm like, wow, this hit me so hard really early, this contemplation. I'm like, wow, you have access for so little money to ask whatever you want regarding business, someone who has made over 18 million in such a short period of time, who has so much knowledge about money, about investing, about how to make money, about holding and having really money, and business, online marketing, selling. I've just sold one-on-one coaching for $500,000, just doubled the prices on that. Literally, I'm selling products from $22 to $500,000. There's so much knowledge I have, and you're not asking questions. Simply, for some of you, it's uncomfortable. You tell yourself, oh, I don't know what to ask. And this is so interesting to me. And this is, again, if you haven't done She Leads Millions Follows, this is a must program you have to do if you desire to be truly financially successful. And I'm again saying this, many of you want this on the outside because it's shiny, but you don't want it on the inside. And for sure, you don't want to put in the work it takes. You just think like, oh, the idea is cute. For me, it's like, oh my gosh, the idea of having a dog is cute. But then if I contemplate, oh my gosh, I have to go out, I have to travel, there's so many things, I'm like, nah, I'm out. So coming back to today and the lies about close proximity. I deeply believe if we can create programs that bring exact results and solve real business problems people have, or it doesn't have to be a business problem, but the problem your clients are facing or something they desire to have a solution for, there's no need for close proximity. People actually would choose the program because it's step by step. They can think, they can implement at the same time. So we got to talk about how actually to structure online trainings that truly bring results. Because also most of you have never learned this. Most of you have never thought even about that, because you just see the coaching seem like, oh my gosh, I'm selling for this price tag. But you don't contemplate that every time we sell, on the other end is someone that desires, this is a value exchange. You desire an output, not just like, oh, this is cute, let me put it in my closet. This maybe works with cheap Zara clothes, but for sure not with anything that is a premium. The other part, and I kind of see this as being true, is really that proximity dilutes your perceived expertise. Imagine hiring the world's top architect, right, to design your absolute dream villa. Do you need them on site daily, or do you want their vision delivered through a precise plan? The more valuable you are, the more available you are, the less premium you appear. And really high value clients expect autonomy and not micro babysitting. Really something to contemplate. And again, we see this in the luxury world, right? I think I should have checked, but it doesn't matter. This was a couple years ago, maybe even during COVID or just before COVID, that this was big in the news, that it was cheaper for Burberry and other designer brands to actually burn the clothes they didn't sell instead of having a discount. Maybe some of you remember this. And when this was in the mainstream media, people were like, oh my gosh, this is so wild. Why would they do this? And it's really at one point you build a brand. And I think it's important that we actually build a brand, especially in the coaching world or in the service-based world, or even when you're premium, that you kind of have a complete offer suite of low price, mid price, high price. And that should not only be based on how much access I receive to you. Because even Dior, they have entry-level products like their perfume, their lipstick and stuff. It's just a couple $20, a couple dollars, huh? Up to haute couture dresses, items, wedding dresses, right? Very unique catwalk pieces. And very often we still have a pretty high quality, even in a lipstick. And of course, in the high-end prices as well. But the price is determined by how often this piece is available. And a freaking Dior lipstick you can buy anywhere and everywhere. But already the Dior boutiques are limited around the world. Having access to certain catwalk pieces is even more limited. So again, it is not that how much access I have to you. The reason my one-on-one coaching now is $500,000 is because it's very limited. The other part is, and this is really, I wish, coming back to the beginning of what I've said, I had mentors which were more ahead in the journey, meaning would have been much longer a coach than I am, and not just a couple months or maybe a year or two. Because I'm pretty sure they would have told me the same, and this is something we see over and over again. The longer people are in the coaching industry, the less close proximity they're offering. Why? Because proximity is a time sink and not a freaking wealth builder. Why did I have to increase the price for my one-on-one coaching from $250,000 to $500,000? Because the time I'm spending now with a client multiple times a week is time I can't use to work on my business and create more wealth. So I had to come up for a price point where it's still kind of profitable for me. And many of you think like, oh my gosh, $500,000, that's a lot. But it's actually not for 6 months. If you see how much of my time goes in there and you see, okay, an hour with me is 10,000, it is much less in the one-on-one. So we have to find a price point actually that we at least break even and not making a loss. And don't you agree? We're going back to the luxury world. That instead of designing a single custom product for one client, Louis Vuitton, for instance, creates iconic pieces that scale across global markets forever. So they really focus on scalable excellence and not individualized access. Yes, there are still like certain bags where you can have your initials imprinted, so there is some customization, but not a lot. And this is really something the bigger brands become, and it doesn't matter if it's in the coaching world or in the luxury world, we don't have this anymore, that anything is individualized. We have this in the car sector, but also limited. Can you see, like there's certain parts you can choose from, and then certain parts, even when you design your car, you can't individualize. And this is really something to contemplate, that you've been lied to. And if you want to build a business, again, this is my heart and soul contemplation. If you really focus on building a business from the back, reverse engineer, you will see, yes, you can have close proximity in the beginning. It helps you bring in money, but it's becoming like a drug. There has to become the trade-off that it's not healthy, it's profitable, but it's not creating wealth for me. And it has to become lower, and your products have to become more. Because otherwise you will always be trapped to close proximity. Close proximity also means you have to be constantly there. There has to be access for your clients. No one enters a close proximity agreement for $500,000, for instance, with me. And then I say, hey, one time in 6 months, we're going to talk. At least I'm not there from a mindset perspective. I don't see the value, so I'm not creating that. You see what I mean? So instead, to wrap this up today, there are a couple things I want you to focus on. I want you really to start replacing proximity in your business with high impact resources, frameworks, toolkits, library that actually guide someone through their transformation without needing your constant input. Next, and if you haven't gotten the dream client blueprint, it is time now, because I really want you to shift your marketing message to elevate autonomy. I want you to really speak to your dream clients who are self-led, ready to execute with your expertise, and not those who need handholding. It's a massive game changer. We're not in kindergarten, we're building a freaking business. And I feel this is something what people think, oh, I'm just getting paid big money, close proximity, so I can hold someone's hands. Yes, you have the energy to do this in the first years of your business as a coach, but afterwards it becomes training. Trust me, from someone who's in business for over 6 years. And these are the kind of questions you also should ask other coaches, why they don't offer close proximity anymore. And I always say success leaves clues behind. So there's no need that you have to prove, oh, but it's different for me. This was Janine back in the day. I'm going to prove all of you were wrong. Okay, 5 years in, learn the same lesson. This also goes back to money of like, why can't we receive advice? Why can't we receive help and support from people which are ahead in the journey? This doesn't mean of you should accept everything. But the moment that's like, let me prove you wrong. Let me prove you it's different for me. Energy comes up. It's an indicator that there's resistance in your system. And it's very valuable to see and actually accept the help. To sum up today's episode, I really believe you've been lied to when it comes to close proximity. It is a nice, cute cash injection. No big business has been built on close proximity. It's been built on scalability, and it is not a wealth builder. So if you just want quick cash months and kind of start over again every month, then you're going to continue offering close proximity. The more you're interested in building really a business that runs also on products, on an offer suite, which doesn't depend on you being there, now we start building wealth. Remember, in one of the first episodes in the beginning, I was really talking about that wealth also means at one point we can sell the company. A company which mostly makes their revenue from close proximity. No one is going to give you $1 for that. It's just not interesting to other people. So it's something to contemplate, always coming from the end. And for me, always at this point, I don't see myself selling the company, but at least I desire to have the option. Because let's say I'm 40 and I changed my mind and I haven't built for that possibility. It's very hard to shift then. We always can change a business model, but trust me, the earlier we build the foundation for a business we truly desire to have, the faster we are getting there. And that's why we've created the 2025 cash plan. And it's really plan your wealth step by step, make 2025 a massive payday year for you. If you're new to my world, every year around Christmas and New Year's and the beginning of January, I'm running the plan. And it's really how I'm planning my year, the income targets I have, and how to accomplish these. And last year's version, so there are a couple things you have to know. First of all, if you join before Christmas, December 24th, you get access to last year's version of the plan. And this is really powerful because first of all, it sets a foundation. Second, last year we had really a focus on manifestation and energetics. Super, super potent. And this year we are really diving into the business strategic plan. And remember, I've told you that my income goal is to make $150 million. So I have to break this down, what that actually means for a couple years or specifically this year. And this is really what I want to teach you in this program is like, what's your dreamiest income goal? And can we already build a business that literally everything, every offer, every social media post, everything you create now helps you for that long-term vision? Because can you see, asking myself, a business that creates $150 million in sales, am I still going to offering one-on-one coaching? The answer is no. Can you see, it's just not profitable. My time is too valuable. Maybe something if I feel like it, but it's for sure not a big part of that. So, but if I'm just focusing on like, oh my gosh, I want to make a quick $1 million cash month, I would be focusing on close proximity most likely because I can charge a higher money amount. But then it leads me to the question, what's next month? So most of you are building like this, just chasing a quick cash goal instead of having a long-term vision where we want to go, how this business is creating money. And it's like you want to lose weight. And before you lose weight, you got to sign up for the gym and you actually got to do the workouts. And most likely, you're not going to see any change in your body in the beginning. But you know, with every workout, it adds up, it helps. So eventually, we will see a difference. And this is the same for our business. Long-term vision, long-term planning, understanding where we want to go, where you want to go with your business in your life is like this six-pack vision versus, okay, whatever, it's just one day, let me have the French fries. The quick cash injections. So the link is below. It's called the 2025 cash plan. And the cool part is if you sign up before Christmas, remember you get access to last year's edition, which is very different than what we're going to do this year. I love you. And if you haven't signed up for the Mastery Club, do it because on Wednesday, tomorrow we're going to talk about how short-term focus on social media is really sabotaging your long-term authority. Because if you don't have a long-term plan, this will be truly visible in your social media because you don't have a strategy, you don't have a plan, you don't know what to post, you don't have a vision where your social media accounts should go to. And on Friday, I'm gonna drop another epic bomb, and we're gonna talk about the real cost of ignoring long-term investments like your website and email list. Because again, there's so many coaches out there that tell you don't need a website, you don't need an email list, I don't do all of this. Of course you don't need it, but it's freaking beneficial. And we're gonna talk about this on Friday. And also, can you see again, if I don't have a long-term vision of how my website and how my email list is making money for me, I will never set it up. But if I know this is becoming an additional stream of easy income, of course I'm going to set it up. So enjoy what's coming up. That's a wrap, big money makers. If you're ready to take your business to the next level, join the Mastery Club. Simply DM me podcast on Instagram or hit the link in the show notes. And I will see you tomorrow and on Friday for the next episodes. Always remember, your 8-figure business is waiting for you right now.